G'day, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Today we've got something a little different. We're looking at this car because this is my daughter's Kia Rio SX 2022 model. Not very old. And I got my daughter some new LED headlight bulbs for her birthday. Well, part of one of her birthday presents. Happy birthday, Amber. These are the headlights I got. That's the brand. I've got no idea how to pronounce that. Ito, or maybe it's supposed to be Auto or Auto. I don't know. Got no idea. But there it is anyway. That's the brand. And even though I got these on eBay and it stated they wouldn't fit her car, there's the model, which is a 9003-H4 bulbs. Her original bulbs were H4, the HB2s. And there is the actual bulb itself there. Okay, there are many different styles, but these are a very close fit for the original bulb. I've got an original bulb in here and I'll put them side by side for you so you can have a look. Okay, there's the original bulb and there's the new bulb. They are very similar size in dimensions. Okay. And the reason I went with this, even though it stated that it didn't fit her car, is because the distance from there to here on the measurements were basically the same. And I'll open the bonnet here. Already installed one LED in this bulb. It was very difficult to get into that one because of there's a fuse box right there in the way. This one's a little bit easier, so I'll show you on this one. But I'm going to turn them on just so you can get an idea of the difference between the original and the LED. And there you are. There's the difference between halogen and LED side by side in the same car. And the brightness is just unbelievably different. I've got them in my Hilux. We'll turn I have them in my Hilux. Slightly different design, but I could not. Well, I did try putting them in this car, and they did fit. But the Hilux ones that I bought for that have a cable that run off them. That's got like a circuit board for. It's got a diode in there because a lot of problems sometimes with LED lights is they interfere with the signal feedback that from the computer gets when the lights are turned on. Because it's low voltage, the computer doesn't like it, and it can sometimes put an error code. So they put these diodes in there to make the computer think it's drawing more current, but it's not really. Just a little trick because it can cause flickering and stuff. And yeah, that's some problems with more high-tech cars that have a lot of more advanced stuff on them. It shouldn't be an issue for your common cars, maybe like your high model Mercedes and Lexus and that sort of stuff. BMWs maybe might have issues with it, but Hilux I had no problem. We haven't really tested this yet because I haven't finished installing it, but yeah, it should be okay. Right, so now we've seen the difference, let's show you how to change the light bulb. And even if you were changing your light bulb, your headlight globes for just a standard globe, the procedure for this is the same. Okay, here's the back of her headlight. Some of them will have, like my Hilux has a rubber here with a hole in the center, and the cable for the headlight goes through the back there and sort of it seals on the rubber. Hers are a totally enclosed sort of situation, so you twist anti-clockwise this cover and then it just sort of pops out like that. Here's the inside, and I think this is basically, it keeps pressure so that the plug, which is directly behind this plastic sort of cover, can't back its way out and then just come loose. Okay, so now we take this plug, which is just a 3 plug connector, and then click it, and we try and just move that out of the way for now. Now, if you can see in there, there's the bulb, and before we do anything, I'll zoom in a little bit, and you can see those 3 metal tabs. Those 3 metal tabs are located in slots at 3 points in the back of the globe, the headlight there, and they sit in there, and that stops them rotating and moving around. And also what keeps the whole globe in there, see this metal hook here? Well, that's hooked onto a little hook which is there, and it's like a clamp that's bended to make contact in the 3 places, over there, at the top here, and down on this side as well. You can see it come back there. So to get the globe out of there, you press down and push out, and then that clamp then is allowed, so you see it moving, is allowed to lift up. Now, to get the globe out of there, grab the back of it. I'll just zoom out a little bit. You're going to see it in my hand at the moment because there's not enough room for both. I grab it by the contactor, and you just sort of got to rotate it away from the clamp that's on the inside to allow you to get it out, because it just sort of gets caught on that wire. Trying to get it out. There we go. Here we come. And we're out, and I'll just... Now, this globe still works. Now I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, this globe still works, so I'm going to keep this as a spare, and I'll tell my daughter to keep it in her boot, so if her light bulb ever goes, she will have 2 spares that she can replace it with. Okay, one thing you must remember with new, or even the old ones, if you want to keep them, if you're replacing them with LEDs, is try not to touch anything on the holding it in this orientation, on the right side, especially the glass of the globe. Grab the outside of the metal section here, the back here, even the contacts, no problem. But if you have a little bit of grease on your fingers, or some people's, generally everybody produces a little bit of oil on their hands, and when you get that on the glass, it stays on the glass. Then when the bulb gets used, that oil, it heats up, and the glass can't dissipate that heat, and it pops the globe. It overheats the glass and it pops the inside filament. So do not touch the glass, use the outside. So we're going to keep a hold of that. All right, and we're going to replace it with the new LED bulb. Now, these will only go in one orientation. So generally, if you look at the plug, there's 3 connectors, and the middle connector always faces the top, so it goes in that orientation. And you also notice that there's a round raised surface there, but at the bottom it's flat. That also indicates the bottom of the globe, and that matches the recess created for it in the headlight so that it doesn't rotate. Okay, so they only go in one way. Now, I'm going to turn this camera around so I can get it into the shot. Just remember that. Now, as you can see in there, you have 3 grooves, but you see that bit of wire there? That is the clamp, And you're best doing this with 2 hands. I'm trying to do it with 1. So you have to try and lift this clamp. And I'll just move it up so you can see what I mean. You see the clamp on the side? When I lift it up, it moves up. Well, that's as far as it goes. So you've got to try and get the globe that's going to fit into that tab that fits into that slot on the right side of that wire. You have to get it underneath that, because that clamp needs to sit behind it to hold it in. So I can't show you it because I can't put it in and film it at the same time, unfortunately, because there's just not enough room in there. And it is a little fiddly, but I think I've done it now, and I'll show you. See how now that bit of wire is behind it, and the tab is actually sitting where it needs to. So there's 3 tabs, and once you get one in, generally the others go in, because you know they're all set. They can't move. They don't rotate or anything. So now we're in there. We can bring the clamp down. I'll try and keep my hand to one side so you can see me doing this. Down. Just got to make sure it doesn't get caught on that wire. Try and move that out of the way. Okay, so we bring it down. Oops. And we push down, and there's a little hook. And you go down below the hook, move it into the right. Oops, I missed it. Ooh. And click it in there. And just check, because I heard the globe moving around a bit, that your globe's still in that recess, and it is. And the recess above it. Yes, it is. And well, they all, if you've got 2 in, the 3rd one should be in. Okay, so now with that in, we can now connect our plug. And it's a 3-pin. I'll just show you the other side. Okay, there it is there. And we match that with the 3-pin on there. See, we've got the center one at the top. Match it up. And it's on. Okay. Now, you probably want to test to make sure before you put your cover on, because otherwise you're going to have to take it off to find out why. So we'll turn the light off. There we go. So that one's working. The other one's working. Excellent. We turn our light back on. We can put the cover back. So cover goes back. See how we got open, little arrow, and a close. So it goes in that orientation, and you just rotate it. Just make sure you sort of get in flat. But it's how it's sitting up, so we have to rotate it, and there it'll fall in like that, and then click it. Now these, I was told, I'll turn it around the right way, sorry about that. When I bought these on eBay, I put in my daughter's car, her model, the year, and it told me that these globes would not fit this car. But the ones that it did say would fit only had 2 connectors. So that's, I don't know, it's a bit of an error with their what fits what car, because this has obviously got 3 wires to connect on the back of them. So I took a gamble and I bought these anyway, because they were virtually the same size as the original globes. And I thought, if they don't fit my daughter's car, they should fit my wife's car anyway. So that was the plan. I'll use them in my wife's car if they didn't fit my daughter's. But they do fit. They are, I think maybe they say they don't, is because that cap, when you go to turn it on, you have to sort of push a little bit down against the back of the here to lock it in, because it is pushing, must be touching on the inside on the back of the the connector for the wire, but that's flat plastic, so you won't be damaging it. It's really not, you don't have to force it too hard to get it on. You just need to put a little bit of pressure as you're turning it and it locks on. So at this stage, I would say that they fit. They're a very close fit, but I think they'll be fine. My ones that I've got in the Hilux, they did fit in here, but because they have a cable that comes off them that's got a diode for that electrical problem I mentioned earlier, and her wiring is all internal, it made it quite difficult to run the wiring in there and then connect it onto the connector. But then the cap fitted on quite well. They have a fan on the back of them, so they're a bit bigger on the back, but the dimensions are still basically the same as the originals. So they did fit in here, probably a little better than this one did, because I didn't have to apply any pressure, but then the cable running in there was a little bit of a hassle. So I opted to try and get ones that didn't have that cable. And for all purposes, they fit, and I don't think they're going to be an issue. If they do become an issue down the line, or fail because maybe of that, I don't know. Like, they're not on the actual globe. Everything's clamping it in, and they're only putting a slight bit of pressure on the back of the connector. I don't see any issue with that. So they should be okay. But if they do, I will post up another video explaining that particular model was a problem. Here is the model again that I've put in. So it's a 9003 H4 HB2. I call it an Ux Ito brand LED light, and they are, that doesn't say, I think 6,000 candle power. The ones in the Hilux were 6,500 candle power, but they're a slightly different design. So there you go, that fits really well, and no doubt we'll test them out tonight, and my daughter will love it. She's already very excited with them, and when she opened up her present. Okay guys, hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and enjoy. See you later.